Hello, Sariah Bastian here, and today we have one of my Beyond Breath clients with me. Her name's Carrie. Carrie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello.
Carrie has decided to share her experience in Beyond Breath with us, and so thank you for sharing your story. I love the end of the course gives you the opportunity to share your story in a different way than sometimes you may get stuck in the spiral of like the specific details of what happened in this story that Carrie's about to share, and all the testimonies that you may hear if you're listening to this is their story now, and it's so beautiful to see. So Carrie, let's get on with the questions. Let's start with just telling us what the main problem that you were experiencing was before you joined Beyond Breath.
I would say that my husband having moved out of the house, I struggled with what is he doing? Who is he talking to? Where is he going? Why, I couldn't sleep. Um, I was just completely obsessed with him and what he was doing, and I completely neglected myself.
Mhm. Tell me how long you'd been doing that for.
When I started Beyond Breath, we were just over a year. I
Mhm.
had I had just been knocking my head against the wall, I guess.
Yep. Yep. Tell me what in that year or even prior to the year, maybe of when everything kind of hit the roof, what had you been doing to try to fix this or overcome what you were experiencing?
Well, we had struggled with well, I had struggled with I felt like we were not on the same page long before he started an affair, though I didn't know when he started the affair. And then when I found out, he wanted to fix it. He wanted to go to counseling. So we both went to individual counseling. Then we started marriage counseling and, you know, trying to do all the, trying to talk and talk and talk and talk. And while it wasn't terrible, I mean, there was some things that helped. It wasn't helping the core problem, which was ultimately that he was a mess and I was a mess and we were looking to each other to fix it.
Right. Yes. So since joining Beyond Breath, tell us what has been the highlight for you.
I think that though it's been difficult, I have figured out how to be myself without him.
Mhm.
Um, it's a long road and I'm still on it, but I definitely am able to recognize when I'm acting in a way that is not going to help me. Um, or like doing the same dance, and I can see things that I'm like, I can see like things that are destructive, whereas before I would have just jumped into the cyclone and we both would have just, you know, been miserable together. And that was a huge eye opener, going through the modules and realizing and seeing where my marriage and where my life, mirrored what you were saying or the story you were telling, and learning how to put myself in those shoes and do better for myself.
Mhm.
Learning to focus on myself has been hard. When you're a wife and a mother and you raise kids and it's never you. And at this point, my kids are grown, and I think I had an expectation that him and I would be together, and
Mhm.
I've had to reevaluate that expectation into I'm going to do what's good for me,
Mhm.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And with that being said, like, uh, um, has that been a hard thing for you to do as far as like in our culture so much like doing things that work for me feels selfish? So
Yeah.
tell me like how your thoughts on that, like as far as do you feel like it was more selfish to keep giving everything away and falling short in every area because you weren't, taking care of yourself? Or has it been selfless for you to do the work to fill up yourself so that you can be for other people?
I think when I was giving myself away, I fully thought that was the right thing to do. I think that through this program, I have realized that if I'm not whole, then I don't have anything to give.
Mm,
And I, I'm not perfect. I'm still working on it, but it has definitely made me, comprehend that I have to make myself whole and not look for anyone else to do it for me.
mm,
And I think a lot of people, we look to someone else to make us feel whole, to make us feel happy, to make us feel loved. And
mm,
training yourself to realize that no one else can make you feel anything.
mm,
It's difficult, but I have to say, like, your program, the way it lays it out, it's such small little aha moments that add up to, okay, I can do this.
mm, mhm. So tell us what you have learned so far in Beyond Breath that has really transformed things for you.
Um, I would say, like I said, learning to recognize the dance that we had been doing for I don't even know how many years. Um, and being able to change that, even if I didn't always get what I was looking for, but me being able to recognize and realizing I do have self-value. When I found out about the affair, I literally thought I was worthless.
Mm,
And I had to realize it had nothing to do with me.
mhm.
It had nothing to do with me. And I was worth something. And I was worth working on. And I was worth putting the effort in so that I could be the best me for the people that I love.
Yes. Amen. Yeah. And we look so often for that. I want you to tell me I'm worth working on. And by your working, you're going to show that to me. Or and I want you to tell me what you know, my value. And you have to decide that for yourself. I'm worth working on. I have value. And that has to be you doing that, not somebody else proving that for you.
Yeah, and I think as women, a lot of times we have a hard time with that.
Totally. Yeah. Especially in our culture. Yeah. So, Carrie, what have been your results since Beyond Breath?
Um, I've I think that that helped me realize that I couldn't save him to save me. It made me realize, whether it hurts and I still love him, what the best path forward is, and I would not have been able to even see that, let alone move towards it without Beyond Breath.
Hmm. Hmm.
I needed couples therapy. Was great and it was helpful, and I mean I but it wasn't about me and it wasn't about him. And the individual therapy was about me, but it wasn't about me and, like, building my self-worth and knowing my own who I am and how to be in this world and take up the space that I'm allowed to take up. It it therapy has a place in the world, but for this particular thing, that wasn't what I needed.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. You're right. Absolutely. There's a time and place for that, but before you go to therapy, there's an element of I need to know who I am. I need to know where I
Mhm.
start, where I end, what's me that I can work on, right? And
Right.
that's what's missing
Because if
prior.
you're in therapy and you don't know who you are, how can you fix it?
Right, right. Totally. Carrie, what would you say to somebody who's on the fence about joining us?
Do it. Do it, and no matter what the result is, my marriage is ending, but I still do not regret a second of this program, because I either would have stayed in a miserable marriage or it would have ended and I would have sat in a hole of not knowing how to deal with that. And instead, while I don't like the situation, I can I can take care of myself and move through the situation because of the tools in Beyond Breath.
Mhm. What a beautiful, I mean, what a beautiful result. And not that you're not continuing with your marriage, and I apologize for that. That's nothing. Obviously, we all start this journey wanting to save our marriage, but I love that you're no longer hitting your head on that wall, that you're
Yeah.
moving forward. You're not sinking in that quicksand over and over again. That's really, that says a lot about you and the work that you put into this. So congratulations for that. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful program.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those of you listening, again, like I always offer this, if this calls to you, like all the women that work with me have been where you are. Like trauma doesn't, trauma doesn't choose how it affects you. It just affects you regardless of your story. Your body, your brain, your nervous system all respond the same way. It's just the biological response. And so that means healing is possible. And just like Carrie and every other testimony that we have, it's possible for you. So reach out. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to suffer any longer. It doesn't have to be your story. Suffering doesn't have to be your story, just as Carrie is saying. And there is life out there for you to live. Like, don't let it pass you by anymore. So thank you, Carrie, for joining us today, for sharing your beautiful story with us. And for those of you listening, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.